Have you ever noticed how you never question the air you breathe? You trust it will always be there, free, endless, and effortless. What if wealth could flow into your life the same way? What if money, opportunities, and blessings could surround you as naturally as oxygen surrounds your body? Please listen closely, because the way you breathe can teach you the secret of abundance. Wealth is a divine current. Wealth is a divine current. It is not something you must force, chase, or struggle to obtain. It is not outside of you, waiting in some far-off place. It is here now, moving invisibly through the very atmosphere of your life. Just as rivers carve their path through the earth, wealth carves its way through the fabric of your existence. It is always in motion, always flowing, always seeking expression through you. This current is not bound by human ideas of limitation. It does not care for economic conditions, circumstances, or appearances. It flows from a higher law, a spiritual law, where abundance is the only truth. Lack is not real. It is only the shadow cast by fear and unbelief. When one believes in lack, one steps out of alignment with the current. When one trusts in abundance, the current finds them with ease. Think of the air you breathe. You do not struggle for it, you do not doubt its presence, and you do not ration it with trembling hands. You breathe in deeply, and you release freely, knowing another breath will follow. The same principle governs wealth. When you trust it as you trust the air, when you release it without fear, when you know more will come, the current surrounds you and sustains you. Wealth is divine because it carries with it not just money, but ideas, opportunities, relationships, and blessings. It is not limited to coins or notes, but manifests as everything that supports your life in joy, freedom, and peace. The moment you limit wealth to a number in your mind, you cut yourself off from its vastness. The current is far greater than calculation. It is the invisible stream that moves through all things, bringing life, harmony, and expansion. Every thought you think sends ripples into this current. Every word you speak plants a seed in its waters. When your words are filled with doubt, you block the flow. When your thoughts dwell on fear, you dam the river. But when your words are filled with gratitude, when your mind rests in trust, you become like a wide-open channel through which the current pours freely. Money itself is energy, and energy is meant to circulate. Just as the breath moves in and out, wealth too must move in rhythm. To cling tightly in fear is to choke the very flow you desire. To give generously, to release with gratitude, is to exhale in harmony with the current. Each act of giving, each moment of trust, calls forth the inflow of more. The divine current cannot be hoarded, it must be trusted, experienced, and allowed to move. Gratitude is the magnet of this current. Each time you give thanks for what is already in your life, the river swells and rises to meet you. Gratitude opens invisible channels, drawing supply from unexpected places. What seems like coincidence is the current arranging itself in your favor. What seems like chance is the divine order responding to your faith. Your subconscious mind is the silent engine that breathes with the current. It accepts whatever thoughts you impress upon it. If you fill it with lack, it will return lack. If you fill it with faith, it will return supply. This is why it is vital to guard the inner sanctuary of your mind. To meditate upon abundance, to speak affirmations of wealth, is to breathe in harmony with the divine flow. Wealth is not a matter of effort, but of alignment. The current does not respond to struggle, it responds to surrender. When you release the tight grip of fear, when you stop doubting your supply, the current rushes to meet you. It was never withheld. It was only waiting for your belief to open the way. Wealth is a divine current, eternal, infinite, unending, and as natural as the breath within you. Poverty is an illusion. It has no real power except the power that human minds give to it. It is a shadow, a mirage, a false appearance that vanishes the moment truth shines upon it. Poverty is not of divine origin, for creation itself was birthed in abundance. The earth was formed with overflowing rivers, fertile soil, endless stars, and countless resources. Nothing in nature was created in lack. Poverty exists only when the human mind accepts limitation as reality. Look around at creation. Does the sun ever run out of light? Does the ocean measure its waves and hold them back? Does the air restrict itself to a chosen few? The universe flows in ceaseless abundance, without hesitation, without fear, without measure. It is humanity that builds walls in the mind and calls them limitation. When those walls are believed, they cast the shadow of poverty. When those walls are torn down by faith, abundance rushes in like the tide. Poverty is not a condition of the outer world, but a state of consciousness. One person can walk through life seeing only lack, while another, in the same world, sees endless opportunities and blessings. The difference is not in the world, but in the vision. The poor in spirit cannot see the riches at their feet. The rich in faith find doors opening where others see only walls. Poverty is the illusion created by eyes that refuse to see. Fear sustains this illusion. Fear whispers that there is not enough, that supply is short, that opportunities are few. Fear creates a small circle and dares not step outside it. Yet fear itself is nothing more than a lie spoken loudly enough to seem true. When one rejects fear, the illusion of poverty begins to dissolve. Faith is the light that exposes the lie. Faith is the hand that pulls back the curtain and reveals the abundance already waiting. The mind is the projector and life is the screen. If the film of lack is playing, you will see lack all around. But change the film, change the belief, and the picture shifts. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner conviction. If you believe in poverty, it appears. If you believe in wealth, it manifests. The illusion has no choice but to follow the belief that sustains it. Words also shape this illusion. Speak often of struggle, and struggle will seem to multiply. Speak constantly of shortage, and shortage will appear to grow. But affirm the truth of abundance, and the illusion loses strength. Declare within yourself, "There is no lack in the universe. I am supplied in full measure." These words pierce the illusion and align your spirit with reality. The law of circulation also reveals poverty's falsehood. Wealth, like air, must move freely. When people cling tightly in fear, when they refuse to give, they cut off the natural rhythm. This creates the illusion of lack. But when one gives in faith, when one releases what is held, the flow returns with increase. Generosity exposes the illusion because it proves that giving does not diminish supply, it multiplies it. Poverty is often glorified as noble suffering, but there is nothing noble in believing a lie. The spirit was not born to struggle in scarcity, but to live in freedom and abundance. To see poverty as truth is to dishonor the very order of creation. To reject it is to align with divine law. Gratitude is the great dissolver of this illusion. Each time you give thanks, you affirm the reality of abundance. Gratitude shifts your vision from what seems missing to what is already overflowing. The more you give thanks, the more the illusion fades, for no shadow can stand before the light of acknowledgement. Poverty is not real. It is a passing mist, a dream that disappears at dawn. The substance of life is abundance, and it is always present, always waiting, always ready to flow through the open heart and the believing mind. Breath symbolizes life. It is the unseen rhythm that sustains the body, a constant reminder that existence itself is a gift. From the first breath we draw at birth to the last breath we release at the end of our journey, the entire story of life is written in the rise and fall of the lungs. Breath is invisible, yet it is the foundation of everything we do, the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the material and the spiritual. Every breath is a message from the universe saying, "You are alive, you are sustained, you are part of the eternal flow." We do not create our own breath, nor do we command the air around us, yet it comes freely and endlessly available to all. Breath teaches us the greatest truth of abundance, that the most vital things in life are given without struggle. No matter who you are, where you are, or what you possess, the breath flows without prejudice or hesitation. Breath carries with it the rhythm of trust. You inhale without fear that there will not be enough air for the next moment. You exhale without clinging, knowing another breath will follow. This cycle is the very essence of faith. It is the same faith that must govern the way we live, the way we trust in supply, the way we release what we hold so that more may come. Breath is the living symbol of circulation, the eternal reminder that life is movement and that stagnation is unnatural. When we are anxious or afraid, the breath becomes shallow, tight, and restricted. The body mirrors the mind. Fear shortens the breath because fear denies the flow. But when we are calm, centered, and trusting, the breath deepens, expands, and fills us with strength. This is no coincidence. Breath reflects the state of the spirit. As within, so without. The deeper the trust, the freer the breath. The freer the breath, the more open the channel for life's blessings to flow. Meditation and prayer often begin with the breath because it is the doorway to the unseen. When you still the body and focus on the rhythm of inhaling and exhaling, you enter into alignment with the divine current. The breath draws you inward, away from the noise of the world, and connects you with the essence of being. Breath symbolizes life because it is both physical and spiritual, both ordinary and miraculous, both simple and sacred. To breathe is to receive, and to exhale is to give. Inhaling is the universe pouring life into you. Exhaling is you returning that life to the universe. This endless exchange mirrors the law of circulation that governs all of existence. You cannot hold your breath, just as you cannot hoard life, wealth, or love. They must move, flow, circulate. The lesson of the breath is the lesson of abundance. Trust the inflow, release the outflow, and know the cycle will never cease. Breath symbolizes life because it embodies trust, circulation, creation, connection, and surrender. It is the simplest action, yet it holds the deepest wisdom. With each breath, life whispers that you are sustained, you are part of the flow, and you are one with the eternal rhythm of existence. Words are seeds. Every word spoken carries within it the power to create, to shape, and to multiply. Just as a tiny seed can grow into a towering tree that gives shade, fruit, and shelter, so too can a single word grow into a reality that shapes the course of a life. Nothing we say is ever lost. Every phrase, every whisper, every declaration is planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious and in the field of the universe. A seed may look small and insignificant, but it contains within it a hidden future. In the same way, a word may seem fleeting, spoken in a moment and forgotten, yet it holds within it the potential for growth, for manifestation, for creation. Words never die. They take root, they sprout, they bear fruit in due season. When you understand that your words are seeds, you become mindful of the garden you are planting each day. When you speak words of doubt, fear, and limitation, you scatter weeds across the garden of your life. They may not appear instantly, but in time, they grow and choke the blossoms of abundance. When you speak words of faith, love, and confidence, you plant seeds of beauty and prosperity. These too may not appear at once, but in the right season, they break forth with fruit beyond what you imagined. The law is certain. Whatever is sown in word will be reaped in experience. Words carry vibration, and vibration creates alignment. A seed requires the right environment to grow: soil, water, sunlight. Words also require conditions: belief, repetition, expectation. When words are spoken with conviction, when they are nurtured with faith, they take root deeply and grow powerfully. Empty words, spoken without belief, are like seeds scattered on stone. They cannot grow. But words spoken with feeling, words charged with trust, words repeated until they become truth in the heart, these words grow into realities that cannot be denied. Every conversation is an act of planting. Each time you speak to yourself or to another, you are scattering seeds into the field of life. A careless word of criticism may plant insecurity. A gentle word of encouragement may plant confidence. A declaration of faith may plant miracles. The garden of your life today is the harvest of words spoken yesterday. The harvest of tomorrow will be the words you speak today. Words also reveal the nature of the heart. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If the heart is filled with fear, words of fear will flow. If the heart is filled with hope, words of hope will bloom. This is why it is vital to guard not only the tongue, but also the thoughts that feed it. To change your words, you must first change the soil of your inner world. When the heart is filled with abundance, every word becomes a seed of blessing. Affirmations are deliberate seeds. They are words chosen with purpose, planted again and again into the subconscious until the harvest is inevitable. To declare, "I am abundant, I am strong, I am supplied," is to plant rows of truth that must eventually bear fruit. The more consistently you plant, the more certain the harvest becomes. The field of life does not resist. It only reflects. It will grow whatever you sow without judgment, without question. Words are also instruments of creation in relationships, business, and destiny. A promise spoken can change the course of a life. A vision declared can inspire nations. A blessing spoken in faith can shift the atmosphere of an entire household. Seeds are never solitary, they multiply. A single tree bears countless fruits, each with countless seeds within it. A single word can multiply into generations of impact. To understand that words are seeds is to become a conscious planter of destiny. It is to walk each day with awareness, asking, "What garden am I creating with my speech? What future am I sowing with my declarations? What harvest will my children and my children's children reap from the words I speak today?" For nothing spoken is empty. Every word is alive, every word is active, every word is a seed awaiting its season to bear fruit. Faith unlocks supply. It is the invisible key that opens doors which appear sealed, the unseen bridge that carries you from lack into abundance. Where reason sees impossibility, faith declares certainty. Where fear whispers limitation, faith speaks provision. Supply is never absent. It is ever present, waiting behind the veil of doubt. Faith removes that veil and allows the flow to reach you. The universe is filled with abundance. Wealth, opportunities, ideas, and blessings surround you like the air, yet many live as though cut off from it. It is not that supply is withheld, but that unbelief closes the channel. Faith is the power that aligns you with the rhythm of life, just as a receiver must be tuned to the right frequency to hear the broadcast. Supply has always been broadcasting. Faith tunes you in. Faith is not mere hope. Hope waits for a better tomorrow, but faith claims it now. Faith speaks of things unseen as though they already exist. Faith is the assurance that what you need is already provided, though your eyes may not yet see it. This certainty creates movement in the unseen realm, drawing into form what once appeared invisible. Faith does not ask when or how. It rests in the knowledge that supply is guaranteed. Doubt is the lock that seals the door of abundance. Fear is the chain that binds the flow. Every time the heart trembles with worry, every time the lips speak lack, the supply is not gone but withheld by unbelief. Faith is the master key that breaks those chains. It opens the storehouse and releases the treasures already prepared. Nothing external has changed. The change happens within, and the outer world mirrors it. Faith is not passive. It is active, living, breathing. It is expressed through words, decisions, and expectations. To declare, "I am supplied," when appearances scream the opposite, is faith. To give in generosity when the mind tempts you to withhold is faith. To walk forward into an unknown path, trusting that provision will appear, is faith. Each step of faith unlocks more of the supply that was already yours. Consider the seed in the earth. You cannot see it sprouting, yet you trust it will grow. You water it, you care for it, you wait in patience because you have faith in the unseen process. Supply works in the same way. The moment you affirm, the moment you believe, the seed of supply begins its unseen growth. Faith keeps you steady until the harvest breaks through the soil of reality. Faith also shifts the subconscious mind. The subconscious accepts, without argument, the words and images impressed upon it. When you repeat words of faith, when you visualize abundance as already present, you plant within the subconscious a command it must obey. It then directs your actions, attracts opportunities, and aligns circumstances to manifest the supply. Faith does not simply wait, it shapes the unseen and prepares the visible. Supply is infinite, but faith determines how much of it you experience. Like a vessel dipped into the ocean, faith decides the measure you draw. A thimble of faith brings a thimble of supply, a bucket of faith brings a bucket, an ocean of faith brings forth endless flow. The supply does not change, the capacity of belief does. To enlarge your faith is to enlarge your portion. Faith also thrives in gratitude. To give thanks before the manifestation appears is the highest expression of trust. Gratitude in advance declares, "It is already mine. I am already supplied." Such words accelerate the flow, for they prove that you are aligned with truth. Gratitude is faith spoken out loud, a testimony that you trust the unseen more than the visible. Faith unlocks supply because it dissolves fear, silences doubt, and aligns you with the eternal law of abundance. It is the invisible hand that turns the key, opening the invisible storehouse, allowing what has always been yours to flow freely into your life. Gratitude multiplies wealth. It is the golden key that opens hidden doors and reveals treasures already surrounding you. Gratitude takes what you have and turns it into more. It transforms the smallest seed into a harvest, the smallest coin into abundance, the simplest blessing into overflowing supply. Where there is gratitude, increase follows, for gratitude is the vibration that aligns with the rhythm of abundance. Wealth is not only measured in numbers, but in the spirit with which you receive life. When you are ungrateful, you close your eyes to the blessings at hand, you complain, you diminish, you overlook, and by doing so, you shut the flow of increase. But when you are grateful, you magnify the good in your life. You water it with attention, you expand it with recognition, and the universe, responding to this vibration, sends more. Gratitude is a magnet, drawing more of what is acknowledged. Every thought of thankfulness plants a seed for more blessings. Gratitude is never wasted. It multiplies silently, invisibly, until suddenly the harvest appears before you. What seemed like chance or coincidence is only the return of grateful words once spoken, grateful thoughts once held. Gratitude is the spiritual law of multiplication, taking what is already present and causing it to grow beyond measure. The ungrateful spirit lives in lack. It focuses on what is missing, what is insufficient, what is absent. This focus blinds the eyes and deafens the ears to opportunity. Gratitude, however, shifts the vision. It turns the eyes toward what is good, what is sufficient, what is abundant. And when the mind sees abundance, the heart expects abundance. Expectation creates alignment, and alignment opens the floodgates of supply. Gratitude also creates circulation. To give thanks is to release energy back into the flow of life. Every time you say, "Thank you," you exhale into the current, and the current returns with increase. To withhold gratitude is to block the rhythm, but to express gratitude is to breathe in harmony with the divine law of giving and receiving. Gratitude is both the inhale and the exhale. It receives blessings with joy and releases thanks with love, keeping the flow in motion. Wealth responds to gratitude the way plants respond to sunlight. Without it, growth is stunted. With it, growth flourishes. When you give thanks for the money you have, however small it may seem, you acknowledge its presence and invite more of its kind. When you complain, you diminish it, and it slips away. The grateful person with little often finds more added to them, while the ungrateful person with much may find it slipping through their hands. Gratitude is also faith in action. To give thanks before the increase arrives is to declare trust in the unseen. It is to say, "I know the supply is already mine, though I do not yet see it." Such words carry power, for they align the spirit with abundance even before it manifests. The universe responds swiftly to this vibration of certainty, multiplying wealth in both visible and invisible forms. Even the simplest act of gratitude can open vast channels. A thankful heart for a meal, a bed, a sunrise, or a kind word creates momentum that cannot be stopped. Each acknowledgement builds upon the last until gratitude becomes a way of living. And when life is lived in thankfulness, wealth multiplies naturally, for there is no resistance, only harmony with the divine current. Gratitude multiplies wealth because it shifts perception, aligns vibration, and opens circulation. It draws more of what is good, it magnifies every blessing, and it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Gratitude is the fertile soil in which the seeds of wealth grow, the sunlight that brings them to life, the rain that nourishes them, and the force that multiplies them without measure. The subconscious must be aligned, for it is the silent architect of your reality. It is the hidden soil in which every thought and word takes root. Whatever is planted there grows, whether of abundance or lack, faith or fear, wealth or poverty. The conscious mind may desire prosperity, but if the subconscious holds doubt and limitation, the outer life will always mirror those hidden beliefs. To change life, the subconscious must be brought into harmony with truth. The subconscious does not argue, it does not question, it does not resist. It accepts whatever is impressed upon it repeatedly, especially when charged with strong emotion. This is why affirmations, prayers, and repeated declarations carry such power. They are not mere words, but seeds being pressed into the fertile ground of the subconscious. In time, that ground must bring forth a harvest that reflects the nature of what was sown. When the subconscious is aligned with faith, doors open, opportunities appear, and supply flows naturally. When it is aligned with fear, life becomes a mirror of struggle and limitation. Many people believe consciously in abundance, yet subconsciously hold to the idea of lack. They declare wealth with their lips, but whisper doubt in their hearts. This divided state creates conflict, and the result is confusion in the outer world. True manifestation comes only when the conscious and subconscious move as one. Alignment begins with awareness. The words you speak casually, the thoughts that drift through your mind, the emotions you dwell upon, these reveal the state of your subconscious. If your speech is filled with worry, your subconscious is not yet aligned with abundance. If your thoughts circle around fear, the soil is not yet prepared for wealth. By listening to your own inner dialogue, you discover the patterns that need to be changed. Visualization is one of the great tools for alignment. When you picture abundance in detail and feel it as though it is already real, the subconscious accepts that image as truth. It does not distinguish between imagination and reality. It simply records what is impressed upon it. Repeated visualization, coupled with emotion, carves new pathways in the subconscious, replacing old beliefs of lack with new convictions of supply. Emotion is the water that nourishes the seed. A dry statement has little effect, but a declaration charged with feeling penetrates deeply. To say, "I am wealthy" without conviction is a whisper in the wind. To say it with joy, with gratitude, with unshakable belief is to etch it into the very fabric of the subconscious. The subconscious must be aligned through words that are felt, not only spoken. Sleep is also a gateway to alignment. The subconscious is most receptive in the moments before slumber and immediately upon waking. The thoughts you hold in those sacred moments are seeds planted in rich soil. To fall asleep repeating words of abundance is to sow in silence, allowing the night to nurture the harvest. To awaken with affirmations is to water the soil before the day begins. The subconscious is not an enemy. It is a faithful servant. It carries out without hesitation the instructions it receives. If it is given the command of fear, it creates lack. If it is given the command of faith, it creates abundance. Alignment comes when the conscious mind takes responsibility for its words, its images, and its emotions, and impresses only that which it desires to see manifested. The outer world is nothing more than the mirror of the inner subconscious. If there is conflict within, there will be conflict without. If there is harmony within, there will be harmony without. The subconscious must be aligned because it is the hidden cause of all visible effect. Align it with truth, align it with abundance, align it with faith, and life will unfold as a reflection of that alignment. Money is energy. It is not merely paper, metal, or numbers on a screen. It is the symbol of circulation, a visible form of invisible power, moving in rhythm with the law of exchange. Just as electricity flows through wires and wind moves through trees, money flows through hands, businesses, and lives. To see money only as material is to misunderstand its nature. It is vibration. It is movement. It is the servant of intention. Energy cannot remain still. It must flow. It must circulate. It must move. Money follows this same law. When it is hoarded in fear, it grows stagnant, losing its life-giving power. But when it is given, invested, shared, and circulated, it multiplies and returns. Money, like breath, is meant to move in and out. To cling to it tightly is to restrict the current. To release it in faith is to stay in harmony with its natural rhythm. Because money is energy, it responds to thought, emotion, and belief. A fearful attitude repels it, for fear creates resistance. A grateful, confident spirit attracts it, for faith creates openness. The way you think about money, the way you speak about it, the way you feel when you handle it, all of these are signals of energy, shaping how money flows to and through you. Treat money with respect, and it respects you. Handle it with resentment, and it slips away. Money does not have character of its own. It takes on the character of the one who directs it. In the hands of the fearful, it becomes a chain. In the hands of the generous, it becomes a blessing. In the hands of the wise, it creates growth. In the hands of the careless, it dissolves into nothing. Money simply follows the energy of intention, moving where it is directed, reflecting the consciousness of its holder. To understand that money is energy is to release the illusion of struggle. You do not fight for energy, you align with it. You do not beg for energy, you open channels for it. The universe is filled with infinite supply, and money is one form of that supply, moving through channels visible and invisible. When you change your vibration, when you shift your belief, the current of money changes direction, flowing toward you with ease. Money also mirrors circulation in nature. The river that flows brings life, but the pool that stagnates breeds decay. So it is with money. It was never meant to sit lifeless. It was meant to move, to serve, to return with increase. Each act of giving is a release of energy into the current, and the current always returns. To give in fear is to cut off the cycle. To give in faith is to join the flow. Because money is energy, it thrives where there is clarity and purpose. Energy seeks direction. When you have a clear vision, a worthy goal, or a purposeful plan, money is drawn to it. When you are scattered, doubtful, or confused, the energy of money is repelled. Money is not attracted to need, it is attracted to faith, vision, and confidence. It follows order, not chaos. It seeks circulation, not stagnation. Money also responds to gratitude. To give thanks for the money you have, no matter how small, is to honor its energy. Gratitude magnifies the vibration, creating an opening for more to flow. Complaining about money lowers the vibration, closing the channel. The energy of money cannot be separated from the energy of thought. Each coin, each bill, each figure in your account is influenced by the vibration you place upon it. To see money as energy is to free yourself from fear of it and from worship of it. It is neither enemy nor master. It is a servant, a tool, a current that obeys the vibration of the mind and the direction of the spirit. It is a reflection of alignment, a mirror of consciousness, a symbol of circulation, and a visible sign of the invisible flow of abundance. It is never still. It flows, it moves, it circulates. When understood in this way, money ceases to be a burden or a mystery and becomes a current that can be directed with clarity and intention. To think of money as lifeless matter is to miss its true essence. It is not static, it is dynamic, responding to the vibrations of thought and emotion that surround it. Energy obeys laws, and so does money. It cannot be hoarded without consequence. Just as stagnant water grows stale and loses its purity, money held in fear loses its vitality. But when money is released in confidence, when it is used for good, when it circulates freely, it gains momentum and returns multiplied. Its movement is not random. It follows the same law that governs breath, tides, seasons, and all natural cycles. Money is energy because it reflects intention. When you use it with love, it carries love into the world. When you use it with fear, it carries fear. The energy with which it is handled determines the harvest it will bring. A coin spent in bitterness creates bitterness. A coin given in joy creates joy. Money does not choose its own path. It takes on the vibration of the one who directs it. Your beliefs about money are signals of energy. If you believe money is scarce, you radiate scarcity and the flow recedes. If you believe money is abundant, you radiate abundance and the flow increases. The subconscious mind accepts these beliefs as commands, shaping circumstances to reflect them. Money responds not only to effort, but to the invisible atmosphere of thought. Align your thoughts with abundance, and money becomes a willing servant in the expression of that abundance. Because money is energy, it is limitless in form. It may come as opportunity, as ideas, as resources, or as direct provision. To cling to one channel is to restrict the current. The energy of money is creative, flowing through countless pathways. When one door seems closed, another opens. When one channel dries, another appears. The energy is endless, but the mind must be open enough to receive it in unexpected ways. Money moves where attention flows. When you constantly focus on lack, the energy of money feels repelled, for your vibration is closed. But when you focus on gratitude for what you have, even if it seems little, you expand the channel. Gratitude amplifies vibration, creating an open and receptive field through which the energy of money can flow. The more you honor money, the more it honors you. Fear constricts energy, and so it constricts money. To be afraid of spending is to choke circulation. To be afraid of receiving is to reject the flow. But confidence, generosity, and faith create expansion. Money is energy, and energy thrives in expansion. Release it with joy, and it returns with increase. Withhold it in fear, and it diminishes. The law is unchanging. Circulation brings multiplication. Money is also energy, because it is never separate from life itself. Everything in creation is energy in motion, and money is simply one of its visible forms. To treat money as sacred energy is to elevate your relationship with it. To misuse it, resent it, or fear it is to disrupt the harmony of its flow. But to respect it, bless it, and direct it wisely is to align with the universal law that governs all circulation. Money, like all energy, seeks purpose. It desires to be used, to serve, to express. When given a worthy intention, it flows eagerly. When left idle, it resists. It is not the possession of money that brings peace, but the alignment of money with vision and truth. When energy is aligned with divine purpose, it grows. When it is cut off from purpose, it withers. Money, as energy, is simply waiting for the direction of the spirit to guide its flow. Fear chokes abundance. It is the tightening of the channel, the invisible grip that cuts off the natural flow of life's blessings. Just as a clenched fist cannot receive, a fearful heart cannot welcome prosperity. Fear is contraction, and abundance is expansion. When fear rules the mind, circulation halts, and the current of supply is blocked. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. The earth does not withhold the sunrise, nor does the ocean hoard its waves. Creation itself is a display of endless giving, and every soul is meant to live in harmony with that flow. But fear interrupts the rhythm. It whispers of lack, it magnifies problems, and it blinds the mind to opportunities that are waiting to be seen. Fear is not reality, it is a distortion, a shadow that hides the light of truth. When fear enters, faith withdraws. Fear and faith cannot dwell together, for one expands and the other contracts. Faith opens doors, but fear closes them. Faith says there is more than enough, but fear insists there will never be enough. Every choice made in fear creates a barrier, while every choice made in faith creates a channel. The law of abundance responds to the energy you hold, and fear carries the energy of limitation. Fear chokes abundance by breeding hesitation. When the fearful mind hesitates, opportunities pass by unnoticed. Ideas that could flourish are abandoned. Doors that stand open are left unopened. Fear convinces the mind to stay still when movement is required. It keeps treasures buried and gifts unused. In this way, abundance is not denied by life, but by the fearful refusal to act. Fear also plants seeds of scarcity in the subconscious. These seeds grow into beliefs of unworthiness and lack. A person may work hard, yet if the subconscious is filled with fear, the harvest will not be abundant. For the subconscious governs the vibration that attracts or repels supply. When fear dominates thought, the vibration repels the very things desired. The subconscious must be cleared of fear so that abundance can take root. The vibration of fear is heavy, and it lowers the frequency of the mind. Abundance is light, free, and flowing. When the mind is heavy with fear, it cannot rise to meet the vibration of abundance. It cannot hear the whispers of intuition that guide toward provision. It cannot recognize the open doors, for it is blinded by imagined walls. Fear is a fog, and in its mist, the path to abundance is hidden. Fear chokes abundance by turning attention toward loss. What the mind dwells upon expands, and when fear fills the thoughts with images of failure and insufficiency, the energy of abundance cannot enter. Energy flows where attention goes. When attention is locked on lack, the current of supply withdraws. But when attention is lifted toward gratitude and confidence, the current of supply increases. Fear convinces the heart to hoard, to clutch, to withhold. But abundance thrives on circulation. Money, opportunities, blessings, all are meant to move. The fearful spirit holds tightly, thinking safety lies in possession. Yet true safety lies in trust, in knowing that as you release, more will always come. To clutch is to choke the current. To release is to breathe with the rhythm of abundance. The voice of fear is loud, but it is not truth. It speaks of danger where there is none, lack where there is plenty, and endings where there are new beginnings. Abundance is always present, waiting just beyond the veil of fear. The moment fear is silenced, the flow resumes. The moment trust is restored, the current returns with power. Fear chokes abundance, but faith restores it. Expectation is magnetism. It is the silent pull that draws into life the very things one anticipates. Just as a magnet does not struggle to attract iron, expectation does not strive. It simply calls. What you expect with certainty creates a current that shapes circumstances, events, and opportunities. Expectation is not idle wishing, but an energetic stance, a vibration that signals to the universe what is to be received. Every thought of expectation is a seed planted in the subconscious. The subconscious, obedient and fertile, takes that seed and nourishes it until it becomes form. To expect failure is to summon failure. To expect abundance is to summon abundance. The subconscious does not argue. It accepts expectation as truth and directs the energy of life accordingly. This is why expectation holds such power. It bypasses mere hope and steps into certainty. Expectation creates atmosphere. A person who expects good radiates assurance. Their presence feels open, inviting, magnetic. Opportunities gravitate toward them, people are drawn to them, and doors seem to open with ease. The energy of expectation is felt even without words. It is the quiet confidence that something greater is already on its way, and this confidence bends the unseen into alignment. When expectation is fixed on lack, the magnet draws lack. The fearful mind that expects disappointment continually meets it. This is not punishment, but law. Energy attracts like energy. The magnet of expectation cannot pull to itself what it does not believe in. A mind expecting scarcity cannot be surprised when scarcity arrives. But when the mind shifts, when expectation rises toward abundance, the current of life immediately adjusts. Expectation is magnetism because it is faith clothed in anticipation. Faith declares, "It is done." Expectation waits with readiness for its arrival. Together they form the most powerful current of attraction. Without expectation, faith is incomplete. To believe but not expect is to leave the harvest unclaimed. To believe and expect is to align completely with the flow of supply. Expectation trains the eyes to see what others overlook. Where one person sees a closed door, another, guided by expectation, sees a hidden opening. Expectation sharpens perception, tunes the mind to opportunities, and keeps the heart open to receive. It is not only that expectation draws things near, it also awakens the inner vision to recognize what has already been placed before you. The magnetism of expectation is strongest when paired with gratitude. Gratitude anchors the spirit in the assurance of supply, while expectation stretches forward to welcome what is yet unseen. Gratitude says, "I am already blessed." Expectation says, "More blessings are on their way." Together, they form a current so powerful that nothing can resist its pull. Expectation reshapes the energy of action. When you expect success, your steps are bold, your words are strong, and your choices reflect confidence. The universe responds to this energy with matching circumstances. When you expect failure, your steps falter, your words hesitate, and your choices shrink. Life mirrors back the quality of expectation, for expectation sets the tone of every action taken. To expect is to command. It is to stand in alignment with the unseen, declaring through thought and feeling that abundance belongs to you. The magnetism of expectation draws from the infinite storehouse of supply, arranging events, people, and resources in ways the logical mind could not design. Expectation is not passive. It is the quiet certainty that moves mountains without lifting a hand. Expectation is magnetism because it harmonizes the inner world with the outer. When you expect good, you vibrate with good, and good comes rushing. When you expect increase, you vibrate with increase, and increase arrives. The universe responds not to empty desire, but to confident anticipation. Expectation is the magnet that shapes destiny, the silent pull that aligns life with the highest flow, release and let go. These words carry the essence of freedom, for holding on too tightly creates resistance, while releasing opens the channel of flow. To release is not to lose, it is to make space for something greater. Just as the tree lets go of its leaves in autumn, trusting that new life will return in spring, so must the soul release what no longer serves, knowing that divine replenishment is assured. Many hold on to fear, pain, or scarcity because they believe it keeps them safe. Yet in clinging, they bind themselves to the very chains they wish to escape. The hands that clutch cannot receive. The heart that refuses to let go cannot expand. Release is the key to receiving, for the universe fills only the vessel that is open. To release and let go is to surrender control of how and when blessings will appear. The mind often clings to specific outcomes, certain timelines, or familiar patterns. This grasping creates tension, and tension blocks supply. But when you let go, you align with the greater wisdom of life, trusting that all unfolds at the right time and in the right way. Release is faith in action. Releasing also means letting go of past wounds and resentments. These heavy burdens weigh down the spirit and darken the vision of tomorrow. As long as anger and hurt are held tightly, the flow of abundance is obstructed. Forgiveness is a form of release, and in forgiving, the soul is freed. What is released from the heart makes room for joy, peace, and prosperity to enter. Release and let go of scarcity thinking. The mind that clings to lack perpetuates lack. The one who says, "I must hold tightly, or it will disappear," only confirms the belief in insufficiency. But the one who releases, saying, "There is always more," discovers the endless circulation of supply. Letting go of fear-based thoughts allows abundance to flow naturally, like air through open lungs. Releasing attachments also invites true abundance. Many cling to possessions, relationships, or circumstances out of fear of emptiness. Yet when the grip loosens, life reveals that what is real can never be lost. True wealth, true love, true supply are never taken by release, they are multiplied. The act of letting go is the act of trusting that the universe holds more than you can carry with closed hands. Release and let go of control. The need to direct every detail creates stress, while trust allows harmony to unfold. When you stop pushing against the current, you discover that the river carries you exactly where you need to go. Effortless alignment is born from surrender, not from force. Life becomes lighter, freer, and more abundant when control is replaced with trust. To release is to breathe. Each exhale is a letting go, a reminder that holding forever is impossible. Breath itself teaches the rhythm of release. Inhale, receive. Exhale, surrender. In this rhythm lies the secret to abundance. The one who exhales fully makes room for a greater inhale. The one who releases completely creates space for something richer to arrive. Releasing is not weakness, but strength. It takes courage to let go of what is familiar, even when it no longer serves. It takes faith to trust what is unseen. But every act of release is an act of expansion. The soul that releases becomes a vessel wide enough to contain greater blessings, greater opportunities, greater love, and greater supply. Release and let go, and watch how life responds. For the universe abhors a vacuum, and what is released is always replaced with something higher. The moment you let go of the old, the new rushes to fill the space. The moment you release the fear, abundance flows freely. To release and let go is to align with the infinite circulation of life, the words spoken aloud in sacred places that reach the unseen, but also the silent conversations of the mind. Each thought carries vibration, and each vibration sends forth a signal, calling to it a matching response. The universe listens to thoughts more attentively than to words, for thought is the origin of creation. When the mind dwells on fear, it is a prayer for limitation. When it lingers on abundance, it is a prayer for supply. Prayer is not confined to moments of folded hands, but is lived in the continual activity of thought. Every belief, every expectation, every inner image is a prayer shaping the outer world. The subconscious takes every thought as instruction. It does not distinguish between idle musings and deliberate affirmations. If you dwell on lack, it assumes you desire lack. If you dwell on success, it assumes you desire success. The subconscious responds faithfully, and life mirrors what has been sown in thought. This is why each thought must be guarded as sacred, for each carries the weight of a prayer. Circulation also governs opportunities and ideas. A thought shared, an invention offered, a talent expressed, these too return multiplied. The one who hoards their gifts diminishes their power, but the one who shares them freely discovers that new doors open. The act of circulation invites expansion. To release what you have is to make space for more to come. The law of circulation is generous, but it demands balance. Giving without receiving is as unwise as receiving without giving. The breath again is the perfect teacher. You cannot inhale without exhaling, and you cannot exhale without inhaling. Both are needed for life. In the same way, one must learn to give with joy and to receive with grace. To reject receiving is to deny circulation. To resist giving is to obstruct it. Harmony lies in both. This law is also spiritual. Prayer, faith, gratitude, and love are all energies that circulate. When one prays, the vibration is sent forth and returns as answered prayer. When one gives thanks, the spirit expands, and more appears to be thankful for. Gratitude circulates abundance, just as resentment circulates lack. Each thought, word, and act enters the stream of circulation, and whatever is released will return in due time. The law of circulation assures that nothing given in faith is lost. The hand that opens to release is the same hand that receives in plenty. To keep the current moving is to remain in harmony with the rhythm of life, for circulation is the song of abundance that never ceases. Your words are not empty sounds. They are forces, alive with the ability to shape the unseen and call it into being. Every word spoken carries vibration, and vibration is the language of creation. When you speak, you set in motion currents that move beyond your awareness, drawing to you experiences that echo the tone of your declaration. Words are not forgotten in the silence of the air. They travel, they plant, they return. The tongue has the power to bless or to bind. A word of faith becomes a key that unlocks doors, while a word of fear can close them tightly. Many speak carelessly, unaware that their casual utterances are shaping the path before them. To say, "I cannot," is to seal the way with limitation, while to say, "I can," is to command the path to open. Your words declare law to your subconscious, and the subconscious, ever faithful, obeys without question. Words are seeds sown in the fertile soil of the invisible. Once planted, they cannot be withdrawn, but they will grow according to their kind. Words of lack yield lack. Words of increase yield increase. To continually speak of difficulties is to water them, to rehearse them, to give them strength. To continually speak of abundance is to invite it, to magnify it, to give it form. Each word is a decree, and the world is shaped by decrees. The most powerful words are those spoken with conviction. When faith and feeling are joined with the word, it becomes irresistible. To speak with doubt is to scatter weak signals into the air, but to speak with certainty is to call forth with authority. The universe answers the word that carries belief. Even a whisper of faith can be more powerful than a shout of fear, for the word does not depend on volume, but on vibration. Your words of power create atmosphere around you. They become the field in which you live, the tone that others feel when they enter your presence. To continually affirm life, hope, and prosperity is to clothe yourself in a mantle of radiant force. People are drawn to such a one, not always knowing why. Opportunities appear, doors open, paths clear, for the spoken word has gone ahead and prepared the way. It is not enough to think rightly. The thought must be clothed in word to gather power. The spoken word carries energy beyond the silent thought, for it moves from the invisible realm into sound, and sound is vibration that touches matter. This is why affirmations, prayers, and declarations spoken aloud hold such force. The word is a bridge from the unseen to the seen. Guard, therefore, the words that leave your lips. Do not lend them to complaint, for complaint multiplies what it describes. Do not lend them to gossip, for gossip binds you to the same energy you send forth. Speak only what you desire to increase. To speak of beauty is to invite beauty. To speak of success is to summon success. To speak of joy is to multiply joy. The law does not fail. The word always returns to the one who sends it. Your words of power are instruments of creation, but they are also instruments of release. To forgive with words is to free yourself. To bless with words is to open channels of increase. To affirm with words is to call to life what seemed dormant. Nothing is too small or too great to be touched by the spoken word. All of life bends to the vibration of speech, for the word carries within it the spark of command. Words are not given to you idly. They are entrusted to you as tools of mastery. To use them wisely is to align yourself with divine law. To use them carelessly is to bind yourself with cords of your own making. Speak, then, as one who knows that every word is power, every word is seed, every word is decree, every word is prayer. Wealth is not meant to be a struggle, nor is it a prize reserved only for a chosen few. Wealth is a natural flow, a rhythm as effortless as the breath that sustains your body. Just as you do not beg for air, you need not beg for abundance. The universe does not withhold supply. It simply responds to the openness of your mind and the ease of your belief. To breathe is to trust that air will be there, and in the same way, to prosper is to trust that supply will meet your need. When you breathe, you do not question whether the next breath will arrive. You inhale and exhale without resistance, knowing the rhythm is endless. This is the perfect picture of wealth. To labor in fear, to grasp in anxiety, is like holding your breath in dread of running out. The flow is interrupted, the body tenses, and life becomes struggle. But when you relax and breathe freely, the air comes without effort, and the body is renewed. Wealth follows the same law. When you release resistance, when you trust the circulation of abundance, it arrives as naturally as the air itself. Many live as though wealth is scarce, as though every opportunity must be clutched, as though life's supply will vanish if they do not fight for it. Yet this belief is illusion. The universe is infinite, and its currents of provision never cease. Air does not run out because another breathes, and wealth does not diminish because another prospers. To believe in lack is to choke the flow with fear. To believe in abundance is to relax into the rhythm of prosperity, drawing it to you without struggle. Consider how the body thrives in trust of breath. You are not awake at night commanding your lungs to move. The rhythm is divine, guided by law, effortless in its constancy. Wealth is governed by the same divine law. You need not force it, manipulate it, or worry it into being. Instead, you align with it through faith, gratitude, and openness. To affirm abundance, to expect supply, to give freely, and receive graciously is to breathe wealth into your life with ease. Wealth, as effortless as breathing, is not about idleness, but about harmony. The bird does not force the wind, yet it soars upon it. The tree does not struggle to draw nourishment, yet it grows tall and fruitful. So too can your life unfold without strain when you trust the supply already moving toward you. Effort rooted in fear leads to exhaustion, but action aligned with faith feels light, joyful, and fruitful. Wealth flows to the one who works with divine law, not against it. Breath is also circulation. Inhale, exhale, inhale again. To only inhale is impossible, and to only exhale is unsustainable. The same law governs wealth. To only take without giving creates stagnation, and to only give without receiving creates depletion. Balance is the secret, and trust is the foundation. To give with joy is to exhale, to receive with gratitude is to inhale, and both are necessary to remain in the flow. The more you trust the flow of breath, the deeper and richer it becomes. Shallow breathing brings little life, while deep breathing renews every cell. Likewise, shallow belief in abundance brings little, but deep trust in infinite supply opens channels beyond imagining. Wealth is not a trickle, but a boundless current, ready to meet every need and more. It requires only that you allow it, that you cease resisting with fear and open yourself with faith. Wealth is as effortless as breathing when you remember it is not separate from you. Just as air is already around you, waiting for you to draw it in, so abundance already surrounds you, waiting for your recognition. The law of life is generosity, and the universe is forever seeking to give. To align with this truth is to live in ease, moving through life with the quiet certainty that wealth, like air, is always there. All of life responds to divine law, and these truths weave together into one great pattern. Wealth flows like the breath, effortless when trusted. Poverty dissolves when revealed as illusion. Faith unlocks supply, gratitude multiplies it, and fear only chokes the current. The subconscious, once aligned, becomes a faithful servant, and words spoken with power sow seeds that return in kind. Expectation draws what is longed for, circulation ensures the flow, release clears the way, and every thought becomes a prayer answered. Money is seen as energy, love as the great opener of doors, and the spirit as the infinite source behind all visible forms. When the soul learns to rest in this rhythm, life ceases to be struggle and becomes harmony. What once seemed difficult becomes simple, what once seemed far becomes near, and what once seemed scarce reveals itself to be endless. These principles are not distant theories. They are living laws, active in every breath, every thought, every word, and every choice. To walk in them is to walk in freedom, to know them is to know peace, and to live them is to step into the abundance that has always been yours.